Hi, welcome to today's Yin Vin flow. For today's practice, you're gonna need a blanket and a block. And we're gonna get started in child's pose, starting with the yin portion of class. So it's gonna be longer held shapes. Give yourself a little time as you settle in. You can always take that blanket under your knees for child's pose if that feels best. I prefer a little roll here between my hips and my heels, or you can even take that roll under your ankles. Arms extend. Then I bring a little bend to my elbows, resting my forehead on the back of my palms. Because we're in these shapes for a bit longer, give yourself some time here. Find what feels good for you. Reminding ourselves you're not going into the deepest version of the pose that you possibly can. We're holding at about 70%. Adjust as you need to, and then settle in. Begin to shift your awareness back to your breath. Allowing yourself, or maybe even challenging yourself, to move more slowly than you typically would. Press out of that position, lifting your upper body here. Then take that blanket from wherever you've been using it. And we're gonna have it folded in a little square to the left side of your mat. So for me, it's about midway down. Then find a reclined position on your belly, creating that same little pillow here with the back of your hands. Then bend left knee so that your left knee and ankle are both supported by the blanket. Adjusting however you need to. Left knee should be at about hip height, maybe a bit higher. Left ankle can be right in line with that knee or just a bit to the outside. This is our half frog shape. Forehead can rest on the back of hands or turn so your left cheek is resting on the mat, adding in a bit of a twist. Breathe here. Next breath, bring your forehead to the back of your hands if you've taken that little twist. Slowly extend your left leg long to meet right. Bending your knees here for a moment. Rock your shins side to side at a nice slow pace. And again, taking your time, extend those legs long and shift your blanket to the other side of the mat. Taking your time to set it up here, again, so that right knee and ankle are supported. Knee is at about hip height. Ankle can be in line with the knee or a little wider. Forehead rests on your hands or right cheek down to the mat. Use your next breath to bring forehead to back of the hands if you've taken the twist. Extend your right leg long to meet left. Bend both your knees. Allow the shins to rock side to side here. Then bringing your hands to the mat, press up to a tabletop for just a moment. You might feel good shifting hips side to side here. That blanket will stay where it is, about the middle of your mat. And then we've taken half frog on both sides. Now we're gonna come into full frog. The way that I set up here is I have one knee on the mat, one knee on the blanket, and I make sure that my ankle is also on that blanket. As you're ready, slowly begin to slide that blanket out, whatever knee it's under, until you find your edge in the pose. Once you find your edge, you might sink your hips back just a bit. Forearms can come to the mat, or you can bring blocks under the forearms. Hips back towards the heels. You might think of this as a bit more intense version of child's pose, which, fun fact, child's pose in Yin Yoga is called tadpole. So we started with tadpole. We moved to half frog on either side. Now you're in full frog. We're holding here still for a bit of time, but not quite as long as the other shapes. Allow your eyes to soften or close. Do your best to keep your breath long and slow here. Five more rounds of breath. When that's complete, press into your hands, lifting the upper body first. Then walk that extended knee back towards the mat, coming to tabletop on the mat. Tuck your toes for a moment. Sink your hips back for a narrow, toes tucked child's pose. Deep breath in. Breathe out. One more round of breath here. Inch the fingertips forward just a bit more. Inhale. Exhale. As you're ready, begin to press out of that shape. And taking that block for hero's pose, you're going to take it between your heels at its wide setting and then find a seat. So here, if this still doesn't feel great in the front of your knees, you can unwind your legs and find an easy seat, but I'd keep those hips lifted. Allow your eyes to soften or close. Still moving nice and slow here. This will start to mark our transition from our yin shapes into our vinyasa flow. Slight squeeze in the shoulder blades, lengthen the spine. When you're ready, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, stretching out the left side of the neck. Slowly drop your gaze down towards your lap, stretching out the back of the neck. Then left ear towards left shoulder, stretch the right side of the neck. Continue here, rocking back and forth at a pace that feels slow and good for you. Noticing any spots that feel a little sticky or crunchy perhaps, and spending just a little extra time there. Pause next time you're looking down at your lap, not rushing to get there. On an inhale, lift your gaze all the way up towards the sky, opening the front of the neck. I was trying to say throat in front. Next breath, come back to neutral. Eyes softly open if they aren't already. Can take that block out from under your seat. Make your way to an easy seat with your funkier alternate leg in front. So the leg you don't typically take in front. Inhale, pull your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, slide them down your back. Inhale, reach your arms up this time. Exhale, hinge forward, easy seat forward fold. Inching the fingertips forward to increase sensation. Walking them back towards you to decrease sensation. Wherever you are, keep those hips anchored to the mat behind you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Next breath, walk your hands in, lifting the upper body out of the shape. Make your way to a tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. On an inhale, cow, drop your belly, lift your tailbone and look up. Exhale, cat. Round your spine, tuck your chin and tailbone. Inhale for cow, belly drops, gaze lift. Exhale for cat, round your spine, press away from the mat. Give yourself a few rounds here, working at your pace of breath. Pause next time you come to a neutral spine. Crown of the head reaches forward, belly button pulls towards the spine. Inhale, lift your right knee up towards your right wrist and then circle it behind you. Just drawing some knee circles here, opening the hips. Switch directions. Next breath, extend that right leg long behind you. Toes are flexed, engage your glute. Then right foot steps between the hands. Anjaneyasana, arms frame the face. A real structural lunge here. So your hips are over that knee. Everything's in 90 degrees. Then inch your front toes forward just a bit. Begin to sink your hips forward as far as feels good. Right hand grabs the left wrist. Side stretch towards the right. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, come back to center, arms frame the face. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to tabletop. Inhale, lift your left knee, bring it up towards the left wrist, and then circle it back. Those knee circles here on this side, as big or as little as feels good for you. Switch directions. Next breath, extend left leg long, toes off the mat, engage the glute. Left foot between the hands, Anjaneyasana, arms lift. First finding those 90-90 bends in the knees. Then inch your left toes forward. Sink the hips forward as it feels good for you. Belly can be soft here. Left hand grabs right wrist. Side stretch towards the left. Inhale. Exhale. Next breath, come back to center, arms release. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to tabletop position. Walk your hands forward, just about a handprint. Tuck your toes and lift your hips for down dog. Starting here, pedaling out the legs, bending one knee and then the other. Really pressing your heels towards the mat to stretch out the calves. Both heels reach to the mat. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Full breath here. Engage your glutes. Belly button pulls towards the spine. Next breath, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Everything squeezes together. Crown of the head reaches forward, long back of the neck. Next breath, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale for a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana or upward salute, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take your feet wide here. Toes might splay off the mat, heels pull in just a bit. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, sink down for a half malasana, so coming just about halfway down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink back down. Two more. Inhale to extend. Exhale, hips lower. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hips lower. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hands to your heart, heel toe the feet back under you. Inhale, reach all the way up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank position. Inhale in plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Elbows graze the ribs. Untuck your toes and take your feet wide. Inhale, lift your heart for cobra. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, press up to your plank, toes or knees. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. Heels reach towards the mat, hips towards the sky. You might have a little or a lot of bend in your knees as you reach your hips, keeping that spine nice and long. Taking a bit of a funky walk to the top of the mat. Right foot steps towards the center of the mat. Left foot crosses in front of it. Right foot in front of left. Continue that till you get to the top of your mat. Opening those outer hips just a bit. Meeting in forward fold here. Inhale, half lift, squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Step just your left foot back, warrior 2, back foot parallel to the short edge of the mat. Bring your block to the inside of that right foot, arms at shoulder height. Inhale, right palm flips up, reach forward, engage your core. Then right forearm comes to right thigh, left arm overhead, side angle. Inhale here. Exhale, left hand to low back. Right hand comes to that block. Inhale, straighten your front leg for triangle. Exhale here. Inhale, lift to reverse or peaceful triangle. Right arm overhead. That left arm can be at low back or down your back leg. Inhale. Exhale, bend into your front knee, return to warrior 2. Cartwheel your hands to the mat, low lunge. Step forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, right foot steps back. Warrior 2 on the other side, block inside of that front foot. Set up your base here first. Maybe even inching your front toes forward just a bit. Inhale, left palm flips up, reach forward. Exhale, left forearm to thigh, right arm overhead. Inhale here. Exhale, right hand to low back, left hand to the mat. Inhale, straighten that front leg, triangle. Exhale here. Inhale, lift to reverse or peaceful triangle. Left arm overhead, side stretch along the body. Bend into your front knee, return to warrior 2. Cartwheel your hands to the mat, low lunge. Step forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold and hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking your feet wide once again, this time for full malasana. So you may want that block behind your heels. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink your hips down. Finding your edge, you might stay up here, maybe hips lower. Weight is in the blade edges of either foot. Really press your elbows into the knees. Heart pulls towards your thumbs, helping keep that spine long. Give yourself 2 rounds of breath here. Crown of the head lifts. Weight is in the outer edges of the feet. Next breath, left hand reaches towards the floor, right arm towards the sky. Finding a twist, press your left elbow into the knee. Keep your right knee opening as much as works for you. Next breath, come back to center. Other side, right arm reaches to the floor, left arm to the sky. Right elbow presses into that knee. Other side, left knee works to stay open. Next breath, come back to center. Inhale here. Exhale. Hands can come behind the seat. Release that block out from under you. And in your seated position, extend your legs forward, seated forward fold. We've done a lot of hip opening, so squeezing your thighs together here, a bit of a counter stretch. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Can keep this traditional forward fold or bring a little bend to the knees, opposite hand to opposite elbow under those legs. Allowing yourself to round into the shape as much as feels good. Reminding ourselves in yoga, there's no one version of the pose that's better than the other. The goal here is to release the low back. So if you feel better with knees bent, that helps your low back release, go for it. If you feel better with legs long, that helps your low back release, go for it. If you're not sure, try it out, see what feels good today. Give yourself one more moment here. Next breath, lift your upper body out of the shape. Then bend your knees, bringing your block with you. Make your way to a reclined position. Soles of the feet press into the mat. Hips, shoulders, head all supported here. Inhale, lift your hips just high enough off the mat to bring the block under your sacrum. Hands can rest on your belly, down by your hips, or overhead for a little chest opening. Find what feels best for you. Breathe here. Checking in that your knees are pointing towards the top of your mat. They might want to splay wide after doing that work with our hips, but allowing them to track a little more closely together here. You can stay here, or for supported waterfall, begin to hug knees in towards your chest. Then extend your legs up towards the sky. You can always take this shape without the block if that feels safer, more supportive for you. You might roll out your ankles here, point and flex the toes, or even play with bending one knee and the other. Whatever feels good after all of that hip opening. Allow yourself just to lean in that. Explore for about 3 more rounds of breath. Of course, if your body's ready to come out before I prompt us to do so, listen to that first. Next breath, knees hug into the chest, soles of the feet lower to the mat. Lift your hips just high enough to release that block. Then hug both knees into your chest for a moment. Left leg extends long as right knee stays hugged in. Little extra pressure here, right knee towards that right shoulder. Then guide your right knee to the left side of the body. Right arm can be at a T or a cactus shape. 3 full breaths here. Next, inhale, come back to center. Both knees hug in for a moment. Left leg stays hugged in as right leg extends long. Guide the left knee towards that shoulder. Then bring it over to the right side of your body. Recline supine twist on this side. Left arm is opened wide. 3 breaths here. Inhale to come back to center. Both knees hug into the chest for a moment. Tight yogi hug, everything pulls together. Then extend into Shavasana. Legs extend long. Arms hang heavy. Allowing your body to soften into the shape here. Imagining each inhale and exhale is just a bit longer than the one before it. Breathe here, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Body can remain still. If it feels good and is available, you are welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, start by deepening inhales and exhales. Add in the gentle movement that feels good to wake up your body. Maybe you wiggle fingers and toes, or build to a good morning stretch. Toes reach one direction, fingertips overhead. And when you're ready, make your way to a fetal position on either side. Using just a moment there in stillness to help you slowly transition out of the practice. Pressing up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes can stay soft or closed, feeling into some gratitude for showing up today, honoring your body with movement and with rest. We'll close with a collective breath. Can inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have a wonderful day.